Welcome to this explainer. Okay, right off the bat, I want you to completely forget about dry, boring textbook lessons on business operations. Instead, I want you to picture a bright, perfectly choreographed, high-stakes blockbuster movie. Seriously, imagine cinematic lighting, sweeping camera angles. But this movie is happening right now, under the gleaming lights of massive warehouse stages all over the globe. We are diving into the absolute marvel of the modern world, the global supply chain, and the incredible art of material handling. So, look around the room you're sitting in right now. I mean, really look. How did every single item, the chair you're sitting on, the screen you're looking at, even the coffee cup on your desk, how did it actually get to you? How does the entire world keep moving without just collapsing into total chaos? Well, it relies on an invisible, perfectly synchronized web of materials, data, and just immense physical coordination. It is a massive, epic undertaking, and today we're going to break down exactly how it all works. All right, part one, the master plan, material handling. Let's dive into this and introduce our opening act. This is the grand strategy that makes this whole operation actually function on a daily basis, and it's called material handling. Basically, it's the movement, protection, storage, and control of materials from the absolute very beginning of manufacturing all the way to final consumption. It's not just about, moving boxes from point A to point B. This comprehensive process is exactly how companies improve their customer service, drastically shorten delivery times, and lower their overall costs. It really sets the absolute foundation for how accurate forecasting and resource allocation are even possible in the first place.
Now, to pull this off, the industry relies on 10 core principles to create one flawlessly unified system. You don't just throw machines into a warehouse and hope for the best, right? Everything is meticulously planned and standardized. But consider two specific concepts here: unit load and space utilization. The principle of the unit load dictates that moving one giant consolidated load, like a fully wrapped pallet, requires vastly less effort than moving hundreds of individual items. It's just common sense, but on a massive scale. And space utilization? Think of a warehouse like a super high-priced piece of Manhattan real estate, where you have to build up, not out. It's all about maximizing density. If you can organize vertically and completely eliminate clutter, you absolutely maximize efficiency.
And you can really see how this philosophy has driven a massive evolution on the warehouse floor over time. On one side, we have the past and the present. Manual handling, which, let's be honest, risks severe physical strain because it relies entirely on human bodily force. Then you have mechanical handling, like basic conveyor belts and human-driven machines. But on the other side, that is the bright, cinematic future of this industry: fully automated robotics. We're talking brilliant machine intelligence and sensors that minimize errors, drastically reduce labor costs, and maximize throughput with breathtaking, literal movie-like precision.
Moving on to part two, the crew, heavy lifting machinery.
Think of this like a movie director introducing a crew of highly trained specialists executing our flawless plan right there on the production floor. Any piece of equipment that aids in the transportation, storage, or control of materials falls under one of these four heavy-hitting roles. We've got bulk material handling, engineered systems, industrial trucks, and storage and handling equipment. Let's look at how they divide and conquer all that work. So, these crew members have very distinct roles. Bulk handling equipment is all about dealing with loose items. Think giant funnels for liquids, grain, or minerals. Equipment like hoppers and elevators essentially funnel these loose items so they can actually be packaged. On the flip side, storage equipment acts as the ultimate space saver. These are your non-automated racks and shelving systems perfectly designed to hold products neatly, which completely prevents those devastating bottlenecks on the production line. Now, the sheer technological leap between these next two categories is just staggering. Engineered systems are the multi-unit automated marvels of the warehouse. Picture this: gleaming steel and an automated storage and retrieval system, an ASRS, with a highly mechanized shuttle, almost like a robotic cherry picker, rocketing down massive aisles to select inventory. Alongside them, you have the industrial trucks. Some are human-steered, sure, but the automated ones, known as AGVs, they are truly sci-fi. They navigate the high-speed ballet of the warehouse floor using anti-collision technology, following bright neon optical tracks perfectly laid out on the ground to move materials without ever crashing. It is amazing to watch.
Which brings us to part three, the negotiators, purchasing and procurement.
But hey, machines can only move what actually belongs to the company, right? Which brings us up into the strategic command center where the crucial deals are made. Here, we meet the negotiators. Now, a lot of people use the terms purchasing and procurement interchangeably, but there is actually a crucial hairline difference. Purchasing is the highly specific act of buying, identifying what you need, selecting the supplier, and negotiating the price. Procurement is the broader, overarching umbrella. It includes purchasing, but it also covers receiving, inspecting, and managing traffic. And remember, industrial buying isn't like you or me going to the grocery store. These folks have to constantly anticipate shifting production schedules and major sales forecasts. And the sheer scale of this buying dictates entirely different strategies. Bulk purchases are massive, high-volume orders. Because they're continuous and non-urgent, organizations handle them with standardized annual blanket purchase orders. I mean, we're not talking about buying a 12-pack of pens here. We're talking about annual contracts for 100 tons of steel. But small purchases, like sudden machine repair parts or urgent office supplies, require a completely different fast-tracked approach. If a company tries to use its slow, standardized bulk process for an urgent small purchase, it leads to a total breakdown in control and massive inefficiencies. All of these negotiations serve a distinct set of objectives under materials management. The ultimate goal isn't just getting things cheap. It's about optimizing funds and personnel to guarantee the smooth, unbroken flow of raw materials turning into finished goods. Continuity of supply and consistent quality are absolutely just as vital as getting a low purchase price.
Part 4. The clockwork, just in time.
That demand for an unbroken flow requires a philosophy that quite literally changed the global supply chain forever. Anything that does not add value to the process is called waste. That incredibly powerful concept comes from Taiichi Ohno of the Toyota Motor Company. He actually invented this philosophy in Japan shortly after World War II. It was this all-encompassing mandate focused on absolute efficiency and the total, relentless elimination of waste. We know this today as just-in-time, or JIT. Just-in-time means producing only what is needed exactly when it is needed. Not early, not late, not less, not more. Instead of a company holding massive, expensive warehouses full of idle parts just in case, supplies are seamlessly pulled through the system to arrive at the precise moment they are required. Actually, think of it like magic. It entirely eliminates the need for massive, wasteful traditional inventory. So, the absolutely crucial point here is that JIT isn't merely an inventory trick, it is a full operational philosophy. Achieving this requires incredibly short lead times, phenomenal quality control, and closely coupled flow lines. It demands immense, unbreakable cooperation between the purchaser and the supplier to create a continuous, flawless flow from raw material to shipped good. Literally, if one part of the chain snaps, the whole clockwork stops. And finally, Part 5. The armor, protective packaging. Okay, we've reached the final act of our operation. The materials have been handled, negotiated, and assembled with perfect timing. Now, this precious payload needs armor before it faces the chaotic, real world. To protect these products during transport and distribution, the industry uses 4 primary types of packaging. We have containers, pallets, dunnage, which is just the industry term for internal protective material, and unitizers, which hold several items together to form one stable, complete load. You know, the sheer engineering that goes into something as simple as a container is actually brilliant. Like totes, for example. They're designed with sloped walls so they can nest inside each other when they're empty, which saves massive amounts of space. Then you have bulk containers. These are the heavy hitters. These are so massive they have fork openings on all sides and can strictly only be moved by heavy-duty forklifts, basically acting as impenetrable fortresses for discrete component parts. Finally, the whole shebang comes together on the pallet. These portable, rigid platforms are the essential, returnable base of the entire unit load. In fact, the simple pallet is the unsung hero of the modern world. There are literally billions of them circulating the globe right now. They are so critical that they are strictly standardized by major industry groups. The pallet is what ties the whole physical journey together, allowing a product to seamlessly transfer from an automated warehouse shelf right onto a forklift, into a shipping truck, and eventually right to your front door. So, I want to leave you with this thought. The next time a package arrives at your home, will you just see a simple cardboard box? Or will you see the epic, movie-like scale of the logistics and supply chain world? The robotic crew, the expert negotiators, the flawless just-in-time clockwork, and the heavy-duty armor that all played a part in an invisible, brilliantly timed symphony just to bring that single item to you? It's a completely fascinating world, and I really hope this explainer helped you see the magic behind the curtain. Keep learning, and I'll catch you on the next one.